All right, let's dive right in. Have you ever thought about how amazing it would be to bring the same level of design you have inside your home to your outdoor space?
That's a really cool concept. I mean, most people just throw some patio furniture out there and call it a day.
I know, but it doesn't have to be that way. And that's what we're going to be looking at today, some awesome outdoor design. We're going to take a look at this project from VizX Design Studios.
I've seen some of their work, really cool stuff, very modern.
Exactly. They took this kind of average outdoor space and totally transformed it into like this beautiful, relaxing oasis. And we're going to break down how they did it, kind of like a behind-the-scenes look at outdoor design.
Like a shortcut to a better backyard. I like it.
Yep. We'll see how they updated this deck, brought in a cool new water feature, and really just made the whole space come alive, especially at night with lighting. Plus, the clients had some pretty great views they wanted to highlight. We're talking like wetlands, nature, the whole 9 yards.
Well, that's a good starting point. You've got to work with what you have. Some people try to force a design that just doesn't fit the surroundings.
For sure. And that's actually one of the things that VizX is really good at. They take the client's vision and kind of weave it into the existing environment. Like in this project, the clients, they told VizX right off the bat that they wanted something more than just like a basic patio and a seating wall.
I wanted a space for, like, real living, huh?
Exactly. They wanted a spot where they could entertain friends, enjoy the views, just fully experience the outdoors. But they also mentioned wanting to make things a little easier to maintain.
I can relate to that. A lot of people don't think about the upkeep when they're designing a space.
Totally. And one of the big things they wanted to change was their pond. It was a lot of work to keep it clean and looking good.
So how did VizX deal with that? Did they just fill it in?
They actually came up with a pretty clever solution. They transformed it into a self-contained water feature. So it still has that water element, that calming sound and visual interest, but without all the maintenance of a full-blown pond.
Oh, that's smart. I've heard of those. They use pumps to circulate the water, right? So you don't have to worry about algae and all that mess.
Yeah, exactly. And they use these really cool basalt rock columns around the water feature, which just gave it this really sleek, modern look.
Basalt's a good choice for that. It's got that nice dark color that really pops against the greenery.
Oh, definitely. And speaking of modern, let's talk about the deck. It was already there, but VizX gave it a serious facelift.
What did they do? Replace the whole thing?
Not at all. That's what's so cool about it. They kept the existing structure, but updated it with new composite wood and these really sleek cable railings. It's amazing what a difference those simple changes made. It went from kind of dated to super modern just like that.
So they saved the client some money and kept perfectly good materials out of the landfill. Nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sustainable and stylish. And they didn't stop there. They also replaced the screening on the lower deck, the part underneath, which not only looks better, but also helps keep critters out.
A lot of people forget about that, but it's important, especially if you live in an area with a lot of wildlife. You don't want raccoons setting up shop under your deck.
No, you don't. But it's not just about, like, keeping things out. It's also about creating flow and connection between the different areas of the space.
Right, you want it to feel like one cohesive design.
And that's where the new staircase comes in. VizX added this beautiful staircase that leads down from the upper deck to the lower patio, and it's positioned perfectly to guide you down and kind of like reveal the space as you go.
Creating a sense of discovery as you move through the space. Very cool.
Yeah, it's all about those little touches that make a big difference. And speaking of big differences, we have to talk about the lighting. VizX are masters of using lighting to create atmosphere, and in this project, they totally knocked it out of the park.
Lighting can make or break a space, for sure, especially at night.
Oh, absolutely. They use this technique called moonlighting, where they basically placed lights high up in a tree so it casts this soft, diffused glow over the whole space. It's like having your own personal moon.
And then they probably added some accent lighting to highlight specific areas, like maybe around the water feature or uplighting on the trees.
Exactly. They layered the lighting to create depth and dimension. It just looks so magical at night. And you know what else is really cool? They were really careful to make sure that the design of the outdoor space, like, complemented the architecture of the house.
They wanted it to feel like a natural extension of the home, not something that was just, plopped down in the backyard.
Exactly. They used a similar color palette, materials, everything just flows seamlessly from inside to outside. And remember how the clients really wanted to maximize those views of the wetlands?
Oh, yeah, they were all about those views.
Well, they achieved that by adding a lower patio with a fire feature and these like low walls that kind of define the space but don't obstruct the view. It's the perfect spot to gather around the fire and just soak in the beauty of the wetlands.
Sounds like a dream come true for these clients. They got everything they wanted and more.
Definitely. And, as we wrap up here, there were just so many great takeaways from this project. I mean, first of all, it really shows how you can work with the existing elements like they did with the deck to create something new and beautiful.
Yeah, and they didn't sacrifice style for sustainability either.
Right. And then the lighting. Don't underestimate the power of lighting to totally transform the feel of your outdoor space.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest takeaway for me is just the idea that outdoor spaces should be given the same level of thought and attention as our indoor spaces.
They should be an extension of our homes, our personalities, our lifestyles.
Exactly. So as you think about your own outdoor space, what's the one thing you would change if you could? What would make it feel more like you? A fire pit, a pergola, maybe a hammock under a shady tree. Whatever it is, take a moment to really picture it. And if you need a little help bringing that vision to life, well, you know who to call. VizX Design Studios. They're the pros.
They'll definitely steer you in the right direction.
Absolutely.